careless enforcement of environmental laws have only aggravated the problem even further. While Nigeria regularly experiences seasonal flooding, the floods of 2022 have been adjudged the worst since the 2012 Nigeria floods. Flooding began early in 2022 rainy season, affecting 33 of Nigeria's 36 states and the FCT. Among the affected states are Kano, Kaduna, Niger, Benue, Adamawa, Jigawa, Taraba, Bauchi, Anambra, Ebonyi, Yobe, Edo, Delta, Kogi, Lagos, Ogun, Ekiti, and Plateau. Over 2 million people were affected by the flooding. A cholera outbreak in northeast Nigeria was attributed to the contamination of water sources by flooding and has been responsible for the deaths of at least 64 people. The flood completely or partially destroyed over 200,000 homes. Many Nigerians who live on floodplains cannot afford to move and simply return to their residence once water levels return to normal after the annual floods. Flooding also destroyed an estimated 110,000 hectares of agricultural land. Additionally, supplies of fuel was disrupted by the floods. During the crisis, prices of food have been inflated by 23%. The federal government had raised the alarm that another devastating flooding would occur in Nigeria in 2023 if proactive actions were not taken by government at all levels. While before the Senate Committee on Special Duties in November 2022 to defend the 2023 budget, the Director General of National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA), Mustafa Mohammed, sounded a fresh warning to Nigerians concerning flooding in 2023. He said, and I quote, "Let me also use this opportunity to prevail on the committee to intervene on our behalf. We have written to states several times. This flood is still coming in 2023. They must be advised early to set up SEMA and local emergency committee and fund them adequately. We gave similar warning last year, but our advice was ignored." Ondo State before 2022 was not spared by torrential floods which claimed lives and destroyed properties worth millions of naira. However, the story was different last year as government's proactiveness insulated the state from flooding. The state government had procured amphibious excavators to dredge waterways across the state. The silting of drainages in domestic areas took place, followed by bigger drainages and canals, where some debris were already concretized by human activities like vegetation, buildings, indiscriminate waste dumping, among others.
We want to thank God Almighty for the life of Mr. Governor SAN for placing necessary structures with every financial backup for 2022 rainy season. This did not even come as a surprise because by late 2021, 2 additional amphibious excavators were bought to add to the one we have before. So as at date in Ondo State, we have 3 amphibious excavators, and each of the 3 is allocated to the respective senatorial districts we have, the northern, southern, and central senatorial districts. So by so doing, as soon as any report, the first thing that we did, there are areas that are ordinarily susceptible to flooding in Ondo State, which we have with the Ministry of Environment. So without anybody writing to us that issues of flooding will occur, etc., our people are there already at the interiors, where you don't even have a human habitation, that majorly maybe at the wilderness or putches down there, people will just go without anybody informing us that maybe at the source where problem will come that we have identified on ground. And but still, all these people are professionals. They knew their onions, so go there without anybody prompting us to go. Then again, we rely very much on the petitions that we have across the field from our people individually. They might come down to the ministry to give us a letter of safe assault, and that's the result we are able to see this time around, that we did not witness problems about flooding. You will remember that NAME predicted that Ondo State will be one of the states of the Federation that will witness heavy flooding. Several billions of property destroyed. For Ondo State, we did not witness any deaths. We did not witness much damage of our property. We are not saying that there are no pockets of flood here and there, but it is minimal, and the effect is equally minimal.
It is noteworthy that blocking of drainages and canals had been a major factor causing flooding in most parts of Ondo State. This is made worse by indiscriminate dumping of refuse, inadequate enforcement of environmental laws, and failure to adhere to legal waste management structure for efficient waste disposal, collection, and management. Vital to ascertain the level of preparedness for a flood-free 2023. My findings show a state capital within the state capital have been blocked by wastes, while others have been taken over by weeds.
They have to handle their waste properly, that they don't have to dispose their waste in a way that will be harmful to the environment. So that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is also the enforcement, which is also a soft aspect of handling this particular matter too. Enforcement in terms of preventing people, apprehending people who are disposing their waste in a manner which a person is caught. That person has to be taken to court to be penalized. And apart from taken to court, the person can be detained. We have the power to arrest. So all these efforts, we are working on them. Apart from that, we've also the issue of government involvement in drainage management through the Ministry of Environment. So this is an area also that we are also working on through the Ministry of Environment. We have the amphibious excavator to drain waterways and all that. So these are hard intervention now from the angle of the government. And like I said earlier, don't forget, I said we'll also be focusing our attention on silt waste management. So where drainages are silted up, it is also our responsibility in a way to ensure that drainages are free from silt, not only removing waste and also removing the silt waste. So these are some of the things that we plan, that we have in our pipeline to do this year, so that our drainages will be free and flowing.
You talk about line drainage being blocked. Whatever you sow to the environment, you gain back multiple. It's a matter of sowing 2 or 3 corn agbado. You put 3 into the soil. By the time it germinates, you have 2, 3, 4 bundle of corn. That is exactly the issue of environment. And so environment is not a matter of doing the way you like. As you lay your bed, so you sleep on it. So if our people decide to put their waste in the gutters in their frontage, you know what they do in those several other places. When they know that rain is about to come, they'll just rush out with their waste, put it in the drainage. Sometimes the rain will not even fall. At other times when it falls, it will just go down to the canal. At the stage, the whole place will be blocked. And who is going to suffer? Those people who did not eat will pay when you misuse the environment. And that is why we want to appeal to our residents, not only in Akure metropolis, but across the state, that they should learn how to use the environment in a way that will give them peace at the end of the day. make sure that you desilt the drainage in your frontage. Government cannot be everywhere. There are at least minimally what the residents should do. Your frontage must be clear. So we are doing our best and we still continue to do it.
I was at Ayedun Enyala, a community notorious for flooding as the popular Ala River stretched across it. On the waterway are grown weeds and plastic wastes, a status quo already creating fear in the minds of residents. They said to experience peaceful occupation of the area when it rains, the weeds must give way and the river dredged.
Ojú àlàwà yìí, a rí wípé ó kún yẹ̀pẹ̀ tí òjò rù wá. Ó pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó kún ojú àlà ibẹ̀ táwọn kan máa ń wá níbò míì lóòótọ́ àwọn kan tó láti high school ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀nà tó wọnú omi yìí pọ̀.
This waterway in our area is filled up due to silt flushed in during the rainy season, coupled with indiscriminate dumping of refuse by some individuals.
Tó bá mú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ó máa bá wọn fa wàhálà gidi nípa kíkà ìdọ̀tí sójú àlà ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí báyìí ẹ rí tẹ́ bá wò dáadáa ẹ rí pé.
When you look closely, you would notice the damage this has done to the waterway. I appeal to government to help intervene because this area is prone to flooding.
Àwọn kan tí ẹ wà láyìíká yẹ pé wọ́n monitor anybody tó bá rí pé ó da eégún tó máa bá wọn fa wàhálà. So yẹ̀pẹ̀ yẹn ló mú kó omi máa ṣẹ́ sílé tẹ́ bá rí gbogbo ibẹ̀ yẹn báyìí omi ti bà gbogbo àwọn ilé tẹ̀ ń wò wọ̀nyí oòrùn tó wáyé báyìí ló sì mú kó dínkù díẹ̀. Irú ilé màmá tẹ̀ ń wò ń bẹ̀ yẹn tí òjò bá ti lè rọ̀ báyìí gbogbo wọn máa di ẹrù síta ni wọn kì í sunlé so ẹjọ́ tán bá lè ràn wá lọ́wọ́ kan tún bá wa kó bóyá tún dínkù.
Kọ́tà yìí ó jìn sí ìsàlẹ̀ ju eléyìí yẹ̀pẹ̀ ti kún wá sí òkè wọn kó yẹ̀pẹ̀ yẹn láti bí títí lọ di Arárọ̀mí náà kò dé láti Arárọ̀mí wọn kó wá síbí.
This drainage is deeper than this in time past, but now has been filled up by silt and it has been abandoned for a long period, leading to flooding once it rains. The debris in the water comes from various directions. There is a man living here who took it upon himself to always evacuate the debris. However, it still gets worse because the drainage is filled up with silt. Government should please come to our rescue because when it rains, residents abandon their houses for fear of being killed by flood.
One major concern is the attitude of some unscrupulous people who, according to residents, hide under the cover of darkness to drop waste in the water channels.
The government is making efforts towards safeguarding the environment, but the debris being dumped here is preventing sanity in the area. We appeal to government, to station officers, to take charge of the area. If possible, make arrests. Residents around this area are always disturbed when it rains, and it is in the night that waste are dumped here. Government should please come to our aid.
Residents are the major challenge of this area as they keep dumping refuse in drains. I think environmental officials should be deployed here and the waterways expanded.
You can look at the area, you see how people used to come and dump things there. They have won them, they have saved a lot of things, but you will not know who come and dump that thing. So who do you want to catch? So, but as for now, as the thing is like this, if the government can come and help to pack the drainage, all those overflow of the water whatsoever that is happening in the area to stop. And something that I notice in this environment is that anytime they see government come and pack this drainage and the whole place is clean, you will not see these ladies. Because they will be expecting maybe somebody is watching. When they come to dump this thing, they are going to be arrested. But when they see that the place began to look like this, wow, they began to do whatsoever they like.
We discover the flood already overflowing and block the road. And the reason why we are experiencing that is
people are come from far distance to come and throw all those dirty refuse on this gutter. So when the rain is falling, when the water is going, so you block the covert. And once the covert is blocked, the water will not be flow.
The water is overflowed it's overflowed the road sometimes. So it's disturbing vehicle safe. The rain is destroy the road. I think you can see that side. It's work of the rain.
This is Obadishida Road, precisely the heart of the market, where the drainages are blocked with debris. Similarly, at Fiwashaye access, silt-aided grasses have taken over the drainages. Sabo is another area in Akure Metropole with filthy and blocked drains. At Iriakare Estate 2, one of the newly constructed drains by the state government here now harbors waste, with weeds grown over the water channel across the adjoining culverts. Some residents alleged that the monthly environmental sanitation exercise is not enforced to capture the nooks and crannies of the state. Perhaps this is one area stakeholders should address.
But tí wọ́n bá lè yan ẹni tó máa mójútó bí tó bá kó bí méjì mẹ́ta lára àwọn tó ń da ìdọ̀tí sójú àlà so irú ẹ̀ ò ní ṣẹlẹ̀ mọ́.
Wọn kì í ṣe environmental decide bíbá àfi ọ̀dọ̀ wa a máa ṣe environmental kọ́ máa kọ́ ìdọ̀tí tá máa rẹ̀ ti kó a máa ju a máa make sure pé a máa bọ̀ ni.
No, I never even come across them on this road. They don't even come to this place to park this waste something.
There has never been any environmental sanitation day that I've not got myself involved. And what they are saying, I cannot attest to that fact. That could be imagination. That because we have not come to your own street will mean that we just stay at the major roads alone. No, I disagree with that. We have been going to the interiors, although we've not been able to move to other local governments. And you will imagine, I have told you the other time, the cost of diesel, the cost of petroleum products. Apart from that, the state is having problem with finances. So it is only the amount of money we have on grant that we use to manage environmental sanitation days. We've been to Isolo area, we've been to Gaga area, we've been to Ajipowo Aziz, we monitor Oshile Aziz. So where we have not got into our area, Futa Aziz and roadblock Aziz, when moving from roadblock down to our road there. Olufon, that's exactly what it was. So we've not been able to visit Olufon. But this year, by the special grace of God, we will not leave any stone unturned.
Flooding is just one of the major hazards blocked drainages poses to the environment. There are diverse health conditions that could break out from unhygienic exposure.
You know, when you have blocked drains, the first thing is that mosquitoes are likely to breed in such places. That is one. And when you have mosquitoes, you know malaria is there. Then diseases that are common, diarrhea diseases, germs will proliferate in these places. And when drainage are blocked, it carries all this contaminated water into your houses. So your food can be contaminated. You can have diarrhea diseases, vomiting and diarrhea for both adults and children. And a dirty environment is an unhealthy environment. If the air you breathe in is not pure, then you have a tendency to have infection in the chest. You know, this is common. You know, people have cough, catarrh, and chest infection. So, and when you are infected, anybody can have problem with the health. So there are a lot of health hazard attached to blockage of drains.
Authorities in the management of wastes and environment in the state cautioned the public against acts that would undermine the efforts of government at forestalling cases of flooding in the state.
We are using this opportunity granted us by this medium to appeal to our KBACs, the traditional rulers in their various palaces, the Mamalojas, the Yalojas, Okada riders, NURTW members, and our landlord association, that they should support the government in making sure that our environment is made clean. Do your meetings, and this year too, we have planned that we will visit some of these landlord association meetings in order to reorientate them. Then we will go ahead to, like the one you are doing, to press houses and outreach to further enlighten our citizens about the dangers inherent in mismanaging our environment. So by the special grace of God, we will get to our El Dorado.
Waste management business is an expensive business, so it's a very large. It is capital intensive. It requires a lot of funding, and it's for us to encourage people to come and invest in that particular sector, and guaranteeing them that if they invest, they will be able to make their money in the business. Because government, cannot do it. We are reworking our models. So, and more of these places that presently are not seeing the effect of waste collection, sooner than later they will be seeing the effect. And I cannot but also say, giving kudos to our governor, Akiredudu has always been supportive. So part of the support, I may not disclose the budget for the authority this year.